What's up guys, and welcome to another YouTube video. In this specific YouTube video, I will be speaking and breaking down an in-depth comparison of me and my dad's different health markers when he was 18 compared to when I was 18, and look at the different health markers and then tell you exactly what you can do to combat the modern factors that is destroying your health today, so that you can also improve your health and your health markers just like I did. And as you can see here, me and my dad looked completely different when we both were 18. And this is not about genetics. This isn't about like willpower. This is all about the environment. My father and I grew up in the same, or not the same environment, but we share the same bloodline, and we have basically the same genetics, but we grew up in completely different environments, and because of this, we have completely different outcomes when it comes to health and my physical external health as well, my markers. So I won't be speaking about how to improve your looks in artificial or modern ways, or how to improve your health by taking supplements or, biohacking stuff. I will be speaking about how you can uncook yourself by going back to nature and going back to basics. And health is looks. Health equals looks. And people don't really know this, but why people are attractive is because their health is perfect and they have good health genetics. They have strong genetics. Yeah, so first of all, I personally reversed my poor health markers here. As you can see, when I was 18, 19, I wasn't healthy looking at all. I was balding, I had acne, very underdeveloped, yeah, very pale, and I didn't look healthy. Now I'm 21 years old. I look a lot healthier. I reversed most of my health issues and fixed my poor health markers. Yeah, so you can see here that I have clear skin. I look a lot healthier and better than what I did right here. So let's see. Let's look at the first comparison here that we can see when it comes to me and my dad. And I think the first thing that stands out is the bone mass and the bone structure, since he looks more masculine than me when he's 18. So you can see here that he got a good wide face with a good, jawline, and he got a good tan. He looks like he has like a golden tan. He has good strong hair with a good hairline. He has no like eye circles, healthy looking eyes, good cheekbones. Yeah, and that's basically it. And then we can look at me. I'm balding. I have hair thinning, bad hairline, dark eye circles, underdeveloped when it comes to bone mass and bone structure, and I have acne as well. And that is the most the biggest thing that you can compare here is the external health markers. So, what are the key factors influencing the difference in me and my dad's health markers here? The first thing that we see, or that I can look at, is the light environment. What type of light um, did I get versus my dad in his eyes and on his skin as well? And the second one is EMF exposure, something that my dad wasn't exposed to as much as me. Meanwhile, I was exposed to a lot of EMF. The third one is nutrition. So looking at the difference in what he was consuming when he was younger and what I was consuming when I was younger and growing up, and looking at these different factors. But I will also include a lot of different sections in between these main sections right here. So this is not everything that I will be speaking about, but you guys will have a full breakdown, a full in-depth breakdown of what the reason was to why I was very unhealthy growing up, and why I looked very unhealthy when I was 18, versus why my dad was looking very healthy and very vital, and what the difference is there. So first of all, let's look at the light environment. When I was growing up, I got phone addicted at a very young age. I was inside a lot, not getting natural light in my eyes, on my skin. So inside playing video games, playing on my iPad, on my phone as well, like a lot of, Clash of Clans or whatever. Meanwhile, my dad was outside in natural light. They didn't even have these electrical devices like an iPad or a phone, for example. So it wasn't any other choice than being outside, getting natural light, getting sunlight, socializing with people, and having fun. There was like no other choice. Like it was really nothing to do inside. Like they would be really, they would have been super bored if they were just like inside. Because yeah, sure, they might have had TV screens, but they weren't that stimulating. And then if we look at the difference in my school environment when I was growing up and going to school, I was basically only sitting inside and only looking at computer screens and looking at my phone as well, just like scrolling, just dopamine maxing, getting all these dopamine from screens. And that's why I had a hard time with focusing on schoolwork as well. Just sitting, scrolling on my phone, watching modern memes. That's exactly what I did under artificial light as well, under LED light bulbs. And then, in comparison, my dad didn't even have these electrical devices. As I said, he wasn't able to, look at or scroll and see these high stimulating memes that we have today. So he was socializing, he was focusing on work and so on. Meanwhile, I was scrolling on my phone, getting blue light and electromagnetic fields. Same thing with light, the light bulbs and the light we had in classrooms. Me, I had LED lights, strong blue lights coming down, flickering in my eyes and on my skin, damaging my body. Meanwhile, my dad had light, subtle, and like chill yellow light that didn't really affect his focus or anything like that. It was just like more chill, natural light, no artificial light. So Wi-Fi was introduced in the general public in 1999. Internet was first born on January 1st, 1983, and the first smartphone was introduced in 1992. And for me, this meant constant exposure to artificial light and electromagnetic fields, screens, Wi-Fi, phones, LED lights, TV screens, etc. I was always looking at a screen, no matter what time it was. And I was also addicted to playing video games from the age of 8 or 9, I think. That's when I started to play video games on my phone, and I got a computer when I was like 10 years old as well. The human body evolved to function under natural sunlight, which contains the full light spectrum. Each part of this spectrum carries a different role in regulating our physiology. Natural light equals correct biological signals. So the light spectrum and the different light that are, exposed to our skin and our eyes is giving us different biological signals. And when you get the full light spectrum, which you see here, all the way from violet all the way to red light, which you get when you are outside, no matter the season. Even if it's winter, you will still get exposed to the whole spectrum of light here. And I didn't actually get the red light and the orange and the yellow as much. I was getting more the blue light, but I will get into that. But when we are outdoors, we receive blue light, which raises cortisol and signals to our body that it's daytime. And then we get red and infrared light that supports mitochondrial function, circulation, tissue repair, and cellular recovery. And the side note is that like mitochondria are like cells power plants. Their job is to make energy so the body can function, repair itself, and adapt to its environment. That is exactly what the mitochondria is. These wavelengths combined tells the body what time of the day it is, when to be active, and when to repair and recover. Since I had a smartphone and a PC, it led to me spending most time inside in front of the computer. Even though the curtains were up, I didn't get any beneficial light. What is a common misconception today which is a common misconception today. Many people believe that as long as they get daylight through the window, they will get the same benefits as being outside. And this is not true, since the glass windows filter out a large portion of red light and infrared light, which is the exact wavelength that support mitochondrial function and energy production, reduce oxidative stress, improve blood flow and tissue repair. And also something is that the red light helps us to enter the state of the parasympathetic mode, the nervous system mode, which is the rest and digest mode, where your body can focus on healing and detoxing and building. Meanwhile, if you get a lot of blue light, for example, if you're inside and you think you get all the good beneficial light throughout the windows, you don't. You get the blue light part. And this means that the body receives the stress signal, which is blue light, without the repair signal, which is red and infrared light. And without the incomplete full light spectrum, the signal to the body becomes biologically confused. And this is why I personally I was inside a lot and I got the blue light spectrum, the blue light wavelengths, but I didn't get the red light wavelengths, which is the most healing and the most impactful on our bodies positively. And the thing here is that blue light raises your cortisol and puts you in a cortisol, like elevated cortisol state, and it basically makes you to be in the fight or flight mode, which is the sympathetic nervous system mode. And that's why personally, when I was growing up, I was in this state of elevated cortisol where my body was, yeah, in fight or flight mode and thinking that it was a threat around. My body wasn't safe. It wasn't safe to build. It wasn't safe to develop my body, and it wasn't safe to heal and detox and, build up my body in my development years. Meanwhile, my dad, on the other hand, he had this full exposure of the full light spectrum where he got a lot of red light, infrared light, which is the healing light that helps the body to be in a rest and digest mode and heal and digest food and focus on repairing tissue and detoxing and building up his body basically. And that's a big difference in our childhood. And my dad's body basically was more focused on building and developing. Meanwhile, my body was getting the signals that it was in a stressed and dangerous state. And this is why red light therapy is a thing today. Red and infrared light is super powerful and healing for our bodies. And when we lack exposure from this wavelength, a big variety of symptoms can occur. And this is some symptoms that I can relate to as well, like sleep issues, anxiety, mitochondrial dysfunction, skin and facial changes, and that's why I had eye circles, for example. Poorly regulated testosterone signaling, that's why I didn't feel like a man, I didn't feel masculine, I felt pretty feminine. And reduced focus and mental clarity. And this last one that I mentioned makes a lot of sense to me since I had a very hard time focusing in school. There's been a lot of studies on this showing that blue light has cognitive effects on people. And then, on my father's time, these things, EMF, blue light, smartphones, Wi-Fi's, computers, weren't even invented yet, and especially not during his most important development years. And that's why he had more exposure to red light and the beneficial light than me. His nervous system, brain, and hormonal system developed in an environment dominated by natural light, darkness at night, and real-world sensory input. There was no constant screen exposure here, no artificial blue light late into the evening, and no wireless signals surrounding him 24/7. So basically, like, yeah, he was outside a lot, he was socializing, he was doing stuff, he got real dopamine from real life interactions. Meanwhile, I was just hiding behind my screen, getting artificial dopamine and artificial light. And yes, they still had some electronics, but they were super low in electromagnetic fields, and not as stimulating to the brain at all. Today, if you're scrolling on your phone, it's like equal to taking drugs. It's like it's so stimulating, and it has a very negative impact on your brain and your physiology. So let's look at this comparison, a simple comparison on how we can see the difference in EMF exposure in the 1980s and the EMF exposure today. So let's look at this. What car they drove back in the days? You have these classical, good-looking cars with basically zero EMF exposure because they didn't have any Wi-Fi in them. They didn't have any Bluetooth, no GPS, no cellular signals. Meanwhile, today we have these battery-driven cars that you're basically, if you're sitting in it, it's like you're EMF maxing and you're sitting in a microwave. It's the same thing. You got Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular antennas, GPS, radars, sensors, internal computers, large battery motor, and touchscreens. It's all EMF around you. You're surrounded by a bunch of electronics that damages and stresses your system out. Most of my father's days were spent outdoors, exposed to the full spectrum sunlight, which helped properly set his circadian rhythm from an early age. He woke up with the sun and fell asleep with the sun, and this is the most ideal circadian rhythm that a human body can have, that a human can have. Sorry. Meanwhile, I was in an elevated cortisol state where my body was very confused, since it was receiving signals from all the EMF and blue light around me, and that was basically telling and signaling to my brain and body that it's still daytime, even though it was late night. When you're getting blue light from screens, it tells your brain and your body that it's still daytime. And that is completely messing up your biology and your body. So, therefore, I could stay up all night playing video games without even getting tired, which is crazy. I went completely against my human body and my biology by staying up late and playing video games. And therefore, I want to speak about phone addiction, dopamine, and development, since I believe most of these things stems from a addiction of your phone or a screen. One of the biggest drivers behind my declining health and poor lifestyle choices was early phone and computer addiction. From a very young age, screens became my primary source of stimulation, like scrolling on TikTok, scrolling on social media, seeing these other people live their lives. Meanwhile, you sit and lay in your bed just like looking at other people completely, I don't know, you live in a reality, in a fake reality, and that's exactly what I did. And over time, this constant overstimulation completely fried my dopamine system. Everyday activities started to feel like a burden. My attention span got worse, and I was constantly chasing stimulation. This dopamine dysregulation spilled over into both my diet and my sleep. I lived completely against my nature and my own biology. So what I mean by that is, when I was laying down, scrolling on my phone, and getting these artificial dopamine hits, I was completely frying my dopamine system, which is the reward system. And when I stopped looking at my phone, I was so addicted to that dopamine hit, so I looked at other dopamine sources, other dopamine hits that I could find in the world. So that led to me, eating a bunch of processed foods that is that high in dopamine, like processed foods, candy, ice cream, sodas, which stimulates that dopamine hit, exactly what you get from your phone. And then also, when I was laying in bed late at night, I was spiking my cortisol. My brain was thinking that it was daytime, um, which made my sleep worse as well. So this just phone addiction spilled over to my diet and my sleep. Diet and sleep and light is the most important factors to your health. If you don't got those locked in, then you will have some sort of health issue, just like I did. So I was completely brain rotted. I was completely fried. That's why I had these many health issues. And yeah, looking back, I've realized that many poor lifestyle choices people make today stems from a phone addiction. And most people don't speak about this, but this is a silent addiction. This is a silent killer. I don't see many people speak about this today. People just accept that they're all addicted to the phone. But getting dopamine from real life conversations with strangers, walking in nature, sunlight exposure, achieving goals, and eating nourishing food is far more rewarding long term than scrolling on your phone. And I think that most people intuitively know this as well. But it's yeah, it's hard for people to know what the right thing to do is. And I think it's completely crazy that we're so drawn away from nature and the solution, because the solution is right in front of us and it's nature. It's going back to basics, going back to nature. That's exactly the solution. Aligning with your own biology so that your body can function properly. But people don't understand it really. And what did I do to fix my phone addiction? You may ask. It's very simple, but it's being outside as much as possible. Even though you might be addicted to your phone, and you might say to yourself right now, no, I'm not addicted to my phone. I'm not addicted to my phone. But check yourself now. Aren't you picking up your phone every 30 seconds, every 5 minutes to check notifications, to check social media for no reason? You don't open your phone with an intention. It's only for distraction. And you know this as well, but it's uncomfortable it's uncomfortable for you because I call you out on this right now. And I'm not doing it to be harsh, I'm just telling you the truth and making you self-reflect. So what I did was going outside more in nature because I was also phone addicted. Going outside more in nature, getting more natural light, getting sunlight, walking more. And I was doing this meanwhile I was on my phone. So I could put on a YouTube video meanwhile I was walking. I could scroll on my phone meanwhile I was walking. But the funny thing is, when I got outside and I felt the sunlight on my skin, and I started sweating a bit from when I was walking, and I felt and I heard the birds, and I got fresh air into my lungs, the desire for scrolling on my phone simply went away pretty quick. And there I had the real the real answer to the problem. And I actually recommend you to do this as well. It's very, very important and it helps you a lot. Just being outside more, getting natural light. So some actionable steps that you can take here to fix these things is fix your light exposure, your light environment. Get direct sunlight within 30 to 60 minutes of waking up. Spend as much time outdoors as possible during the day. And dim indoor lights after sunset and use warm/amber lighting at night. Avoid screens 1 to 2 hours before bed or use blue light blocking glasses. Second, reduce blue light and EMF exposure, something very obvious. Put away your phone whenever you can. Turn off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth at night, these are signals that still stresses out your body if it's nearby you. Don't sleep next to your phone, airplane mode or in another room. Avoid screens late at night unless it's absolutely necessary. Third, restore dopamine sensitivity. So remove constant stimulation as scrolling, gaming, notification. Try to get out there in the world and do real life things, do some sports that are actually funny that you enjoy. Use your phone outside instead of inside. Replace digital dopamine with real dopamine, walking outside, getting sunlight, movement, conversations with people that you love, working towards your goals. And then protect your sleep and your circadian rhythm. So go to bed and wake up at consistent times. Sleep in a dark, cool, quiet room. No bright light after sunset. Get morning light, evening darkness every single day. Live more like a human being, and instead live more like a human, less like a robot. Spend time barefoot in nature when possible. Move your body daily without overstimulation. Seek boredom and let silence exist. So you don't constantly, every single second of you being awake, you don't need to be exposed to stimulation or blue light. So that's very important, and these are some actionable steps that you can take today that will actually help you when it comes to this. And then second, let's go to nutrition. So same food, completely different outcome. When my dad was growing up, he was eating processed foods a lot. When I was growing up, I was eating processed foods a lot, but we had the same outcome of health and external appearance. My dad wasn't health conscious at all, and his diet wasn't ideal. He ate McDonald's and processed foods regularly, just like I did. The question becomes then, if we ate similar foods, why did our health outcomes look so different? So let's look at fast food then versus fast food now, since we were both eating fast food. Today, we have, you know, if you go to McDonald's and you buy fries, for example, you have 20 different um, ingredients with a bunch of chemicals and seed oils and stuff. But back then, the fries that you bought on McDonald's had 4 ingredients: potatoes, beef tallow, and salt. That's even 3 ingredients. This is considered healthy today. But back then it was considered as a processed food, as a fast food. So this is something that affected me a lot. Meanwhile, my dad was just eating regular food. And of course, if he was eating like candy and stuff, in the 1970s, if he ate like a Reese's butter peanut butter cup, he was consuming like a few ingredients: sugar, peanuts, coconut butter, cocoa butter, milk, chocolate, dextrose, salt, soy lecithin. Of course, this is not healthy, but meanwhile he was consuming this, I had 10, 20 different more ingredients. Same thing here. Like, look at these difference. We're adding so much bullshit to get like a long shelf life instead of like eating healthy stuff. This is completely crazy. But yeah, so this was something that affected me a lot since I was exposed to more chemicals, more bullshit, more processed foods. Back then, we had shorter ingredient lists, less industrial processing, fewer chemicals, minimal use of industrial seed oils. Meanwhile, today we have ultra processed foods that's engineered for a long shelf life and not nutrition, filled with emulsifiers, preservatives, and stabilizers, cooked and even recooked in oxidized seed oils, recooked. So let's speak about seed oils and the explosion of seed oil use. One of the biggest dietary shifts since the 1980s is the massive increase in seed oil consumption, like canola oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil. This is something I believe played a major role in the difference between my dad's health growing up and my own health growing up. Seed oils were never a part of the human diet historically. Dietary fats came from animal sources and natural occurring plant fats like olives and coconuts. Today, the average person consumes seed oils on a daily basis, and unfortunately, I've been fed this oil since I was born. It had already been mainstream for a long time, and people had accepted this as a food source somehow, and why I don't know. So you may ask, why is this an issue? This right here should be enough evidence for why this is unhealthy. This is the mechanical process that it has to go through, that 30,000 seeds has to go through for you to get 1 liter of sunflower oil. Look at these different steps right here. Like, it's a ultra processed oil, and whatever that is ultra processed shouldn't be consumed by human beings, because I believe God and nature made everything simple. Everything that should be consumed is present in nature, with I personally believe is animal-based foods. Seeds are crushed, heated, chemically treated with solvents like hexane, deodorized, and refined at extremely high temperatures. What comes out at the end is not natural at all. And you might have heard this like on social media before, like people talking about seed oils, it's not healthy, seed oils this, seed oils that, and like this debate. And people might see it as a meme or like just something that people came up with for no reason. But this is actually poison. This is actually poison. And I think that these trends or things that become mainstream after a while doesn't people don't really take it seriously after a while. They've heard it so many times. They're like, this is only a meme. People only talk about this on social media. It's the same thing like with the TikTok diet. People don't take it seriously because it's mainstream and it's popular right now. But it's animal-based foods. It's foods that's coming from nature, which I personally believe I think it's a super good trend to speak about how seed oils are toxic and how the TikTok diet or like the cutting board diet is like a meme. I think it's super good. So how is this seed oil damaging to our bodies? Seed oils are high in unstable polyunsaturated fats that oxidize very easily. When these oxidized fats are consumed, they enter into our cell membranes, making cells more fragile, more inflammatory, and less efficient at producing energy. Increasing chronic inflammation, damaging our mitochondria, disrupts our hormones, makes our tissues vulnerable to stress, and it makes you feel like absolute shit. If you've been consuming seed oils for a long time, you might not even know how good it feels to be off of seed oils, to be fully detoxed from seed oils. You know, most people operate from a lower vibration where they're eating processed foods and they believe that that is how they're supposed to feel. That is their new standard. That is normal. But when you're actually getting healthy and you actually fix your health, you're on another level, and that's becoming your new standard. So when I was waking up every day and I was eating seed oils, I felt so bad. Like I felt inflammation in my body. I felt super bloated, excess fat. I just turned on the side and just scrolled on my phone directly because I didn't get natural dopamine and I didn't have no drive to actually wake up and like do things in real life. Um, so the biggest problem with seed oils is that these seed oils doesn't just pass through our system. These unstable fats are stored in our body fat, incorporated into our cell membranes, retained in our tissues for very long periods of time, and trying to detox these polyunsaturated fats, seed oils, usually takes months, if not even years, depending on how long you've been consuming seed oils, which is also a big, big downside to consuming these things in the first place, since it has to be detoxed, but it gets so stored into deeper tissues directly. So let's look at the detox process. First of all, it gets stored into our body fat. Linoleic acid gets stored in fat tissue and cell membranes, released slowly when fat is burned. Second, long half-life. Linoleic acid remains in the body for a very long time, and it can take 2 to 4 years to significantly reduce um, after stopping intake. 3. Oxidative stress during release. As stored polyunsaturated fat is released, it oxidizes easily, damaging your body once again, and can cause temporarily increase of inflammation or other symptoms when you're detoxing. And when you're detoxing, it's very common to get fever because that's your body's way of pushing out toxins through sweat, through headaches, through bile, through mucus. So getting sick when you're detoxing is not a bad thing, it's not a harmful thing. And then let's look at the realistic timeline here when you're strictly avoiding seed oils. The first 3 months, you will get less damage in your mitochondria and in your body overall, but you're still most likely running on stored seed oils. From 3 to 6 months, cell membranes begin to shift and start to push out these hardened oils, and inflammation starts to go down. From 6 to 12 months, that's when you actually get a noticeable difference in metabolism and hormonal improvements. So your testosterone might go up. And this was something that I recognized a lot when I was detoxing from these seed oils. And then from 1 to 3 years, if not even 4 years, you will see a major improvement in your overall health and the health issues. And the stored seed oils will like basically be completely replaced by stable fats, and you will have a lower baseline inflammation, of course. So what is the solution here? And the solution is actually very simple. It's not to force these oils out. It's simply to replace them. So from these oils to saturated fats from animals, which is completely natural. You don't have to process these fats to be able to consume them, which is exactly what you need to do with these seed oils. You have to process them first, and I believe that everything in nature should be consumed as they are. So slowly introduce stable fats to replace the PUFA in your tissues, and then you can consume stuff as raw unsalted butter, raw eggs, raw cheese, raw cream, raw bone marrow, fatty steaks, just natural fat sources. And second of all, avoid re-exposure, of course, because small frequent intake can delay the progress and can stop the detox. So if you're going out to eat in a restaurant, make sure that you're not getting any seed oils at all. If you're going out to shopping, look at the ingredient list, see that you're not getting any seed oils at all. Very, very important. Even though you might look super autistic, or your parents or your family or your friends thinks that you're just a foil hat, like they might think you're dumb, but this is truth, and the truth is hard to accept for people. So ask restaurants to cook in animal fats instead of seed oils. Say that you're allergic. Every time I go outside eating in restaurants, I say that I'm allergic to seed oils, and I make sure that they cook in animal fats. And then you can also do hot bath protocol, and this is a practical tool from Doctor of Ogenous Wonder Planets. He was someone that was preaching the things that I'm preaching, and especially the raw animal-based diet, the raw primal diet. And this protocol is well known for detoxing hardened seed oils. And the idea is that heat draws toxins from deep tissues toward the skin and lymphatic system, where they can safely be released. And you can Google the details and look up Ogenous Wonder Planet and his work. He has a website that is called ogenous.net, where you can get access to a lot of his sources as well. So let's look at the difference in our skin here. My dad had crystal clear skin, and I had acne, a lot of acne as well as you can see here. I was absolutely cooked, and I didn't want to be seen outside in social environments, and it's crazy looking back at these photos because I didn't even think that it was that bad. Like it's really bad now that I look back. But yeah, so when it comes to acne, I need to bring up gut health, because your state of your gut health will indicate the state of your skin health. Same thing with my acne. My skin didn't just randomly break out. My gut health slowly got cooked from daily exposure to seed oils, as I just mentioned, to additives and chemical-filled foods. While my father wasn't exposed to as much chemicals and seed oils, his gut remained healthy, which means that his skin was also perfect. And the seed oils wasn't even like seed oils was invented, but at his time they didn't consume it as much. The main staple in fat intake was still from animal fats, and animal fats will detox and bind to the toxins that you're consuming. So let's say he was exposed to a lot of chemicals. If he ate stable fats from animals, these fats binded to the chemicals and remove them pretty fast. Meanwhile, I was, not consumed to lots of chemicals, lots of EMF exposure, lots of seed oils and toxins overall everywhere. I didn't even have the fats that could bind to those things and remove them out. So these chemicals and toxins were stored in my organs and my brain, for example. So now that I'm older, I have to make sure that I actually detox these things that are stuck in my deeper tissues of my organs and throughout my body. So yeah, and my dad had very tanned skin, and meanwhile I had very pale skin. and the sun will either reflect, or the sun will reflect your current state of health. Either you get a tan or you burn easily. So depending on your state of health, the sunlight will either damage you or help you. You will level up or you will level down. And that's why I was either pale or sunburnt. Either or. While my father was able to maintain a healthy and more golden skin tan all year round because he wasn't unhealthy. His state of health was a lot better than my state of health. So the solution here is to heal your gut with animal-based foods. And healing your gut will be highly individual depending on how damaged your gut actually is. Some people may see improvements by simply removing ultra-processed foods and seed oils, while others need a longer period of repair and nervous system regulation. So I can't really give out like a one-size-fits-all solution here. Gut healing is highly individual, which is why I work with people one-on-one, where I look at their lifestyle, their stress levels, their diet history, and overall situation in detail to make sure that they actually heal their bodies. So I can't really give out like a recommendation that is like, okay, you're going to heal your gut and your skin if you follow these steps. But I can give out some general recommendations to you that will help you. Eliminating ultra-processed foods. The gut can't heal while it's being irritated daily, so that's the first and most important step. Second of all, making animal foods the staple in your diet, either raw or lightly cooked, since raw has more bacteria and more enzymes that will support digestion. Include fermented foods in your diet, such as raw A2 kefir, which will help support your microbial balance and improve digestion. Third or fourth, actually, is digestion walks. This was something that I focused on a lot when I was healing my gut and my skin. Short walks after meals supports digestion, and this will work for everyone. It will definitely like be a big needle mover when it comes to you improving your gut health and your acne. So then we have calming the nervous system, so it enters the rest and digest mode, which is the parasympathetic mode. Do breath work, mindfulness, and simple rituals will lower stress hormones and allow the gut to actually repair. A stressed body cannot heal a damaged gut. Get direct sunlight on your stomach, because sunlight is the reason for life on Earth, and it will participate in healing whatever unnatural disease you might have. And especially if you get sunlight on your stomach, but also on your skin, that will be super, super good for you. Then we can look at the bone mass and the bone structure, which you see a big, big difference here. My dad had a lot better bone structure. I had it a lot worse. We have some environmental differences here. From birth to the age of 10 years old, my dad ate a lot more chewy foods. He didn't have access to like processed baby food. It was still a lot more normal to feed babies real food such as beef and eggs and stuff like that. And that's exactly why my dad developed better, because he used his muscles in his face. He barely had any chemical exposure when he was a baby. No blue light from phones or electrical devices that could harm his body or put him in a fight or flight mode. Meanwhile, I was eating soft foods, like processed baby food that I didn't really use any mechanical chewing, or I didn't put any pressure in my face, so it didn't develop properly. Chemical exposure everywhere, baby products, only chemicals in that, which disrupts my hormones, making me underdeveloped. And then blue light from games, sitting a lot, TV, exposure, EMF, exactly what I just went through before this, which unfortunately led to me breathing with my mouth. I had incorrect swallowing habits, poor posture because I was sitting a lot, and I was also eating soft foods. So I was the mouth breather. I was breathing through my mouth and I didn't have the correct tongue posture. correct tongue posture should be on the top of your palate. I was sitting a lot. This is not a natural position for humans, and I was eating soft foods. Meanwhile, my dad was automatically breathing through his nose already because his his airways opened up, his face opened up and developed well with the muscle and the pressure that he put on his face when he was chewing hard foods and nutritional foods. And he had proper tongue posture, proper swallowing habits, got good upright posture, and he was chewing hard foods. So he was the nose breather. He got developed pretty well. He had correct posture, and he was eating hard foods such as beef, and his parents was feeding him that. So the solution here in the modern times, if you're underdeveloped or you don't have a developed face where everything works perfectly fine and you cannot breathe through your nose, then the solution is the myofunctional habits. So first of all, breathing through your nose day and night. This maintains correct jaw and facial development. And mouth breathing changes facial structure, nervous system tone, and sleep quality. So breathing through your nose is exactly what you need to do because it actually filters the air as well and open up the airways and puts you in a parasympathetic nervous system mode, which is the rest and digest mode. Meanwhile, breathing through your mouth puts you in a fight or flight mode and doesn't filter the air and it doesn't go deep into the lungs, making you underdeveloped. Second one is tongue resting on the palate, which is correct tongue posture. You've maybe heard of mewing, for example, and mewing is the correct tongue posture, even though people think that it's a meme or some shit. Light continuous pressure, which is not forced, which is exactly what you should have. Why this matters is because it supports airway development and maintains facial bone structure. So this is when people aren't mewing. This is when you are mewing. Over time, you will start to get better developed, just like this, putting pressure on your face and opening up your airways and everything. And then the third is proper swallowing patterns. Correct swallow. Tongue presses upward, not forward. No excessive facial muscle activation, just as in this picture. And you can also look these things up and look into detail, but I'm just mentioning the core principles here. Why this matters is because swallowing happens 1,000 to 2,000 times per day, and incorrect patterns distort facial muscles and bone over time. So bad swallowing habits will reshape the face slowly but consistently. Basically, if you're swallowing wrong, which I also can do sometimes, you won't have any pressure, upward pressure, so you'll have more a sunken face and a downward looking face, or whatever you can say, but also vice versa. So when you're getting that upward pressure, you will have an upward face, well developed with a good jaw, and like you will open up the airways. So that's very important. And then also a simple thing is chewing firm whole foods, using your muscles in your face, using your jaw muscles, which is exactly, it's meant to tear apart food. Mechanical stress is essential for facial development, stimulates jaw growth, strengthens chewing muscles, and signals bone remodeling. Soft food creates soft structure. And then proper head, neck, and curvature posture as well. Facial structure is connected to spinal alignment. And why this matters is because forward head posture restricts your airways, so you're not able to breathe correctly. When you're not able to breathe correctly, you will start breathing through your mouth. It alters jaw position and encourages mouth breathing, as I just said. Something that will help with posture as well on a deeper level. If you have like anterior pelvic tilt, you have forward head posture or scoliosis, will be diaphragm alignment and functional training. This is something I recommend you to definitely look into, so you get rid of that nerd posture. And this is something I've developed as well from sitting down from when I was 8 years old to 20. I've been sitting and sitting and sitting in this unnatural position. Yeah. Next one that I will go into and lightly touch on is hair health. You can see here that my dad's hair health is a lot stronger, a lot healthier looking hair. Meanwhile, I was balding and I had hair thinning. And once again, this isn't about genetics, it's about environment and physiology. My dad spent far more time outdoors, received natural sunlight on his scalp, and lived alignment with his circadian rhythm. Sunlight plays a key role in hormonal signaling, vitamin D production, and scalp circulation, and also overall health. And I've already made a video about this. It's a 42-minute long video on exactly what you can do to fix your hair health. And as you can see, I actually got my natural color back, hair color, which is blonde. And you can see this if you go back and you look at your pictures of yourself when you were a kid. If you had blonde color, you will also get that back when you're health maxing and following the tips in that video. So if you want to learn about hair health, hair loss, sunlight, hormones, and how I reverse my own thinning and balding, then look at that video. It will be right here somewhere or in the description, where I go much deeper into the mechanics and the exact steps that I took. So I recommend you guys to go check that out. Then we have testosterone and fertility. And I want to briefly touch on hormones because this is really the end result of everything that we've talked about in this video. When you compare men from previous generations to modern men today, one of the most obvious differences is hormonal health. You can clearly see on a man if he got good hormonal health, he got high testosterone, high DHT, and you can clearly see on a man when he got low testosterone, low DHT, low fertility. And yeah, testosterone is the key hormone for metabolism, muscle, bone health, mood, energy, and overall resilience. Since it is the male hormone, this is the hormone that you should be optimizing for 24/7. And when we speak about health, it's a central marker of biological robustness. And out of a neutral perspective, non-judgmental perspective, I will look at the male models from 1980s and look at the male models today that are being pushed in society. So first of all, on the left side here, you can see well-developed man, strong presence, healthy hair, a well-developed wide face, good jaw, looks very masculine. Then we look at the right side here, and we have a very feminine man. He has makeup on, and he looks very skinny. This is a good example of a person that has low testosterone and low DHT without me judging. Okay, I'm not judging anyone. I'm just showing you guys what is happening in society and in humans. This is also a well-developed man. You can see the markers of his health. This guy is like out of like appearance. This is a health marker. This is all about health. This has nothing to do with like aesthetics. The healthier, the more attractive you look, is the healthier you are. Is the healthier and closer you've been to your ancestors, which have been great hunters in the past, eating a lots of animal products, being under sunlight. And then same thing here on the right side, he looks very feminine. And me personally, I'm not the most masculine looking guy. I'm not here to judge, as I said. And I want everyone to go back to masculinity and the peak performance, peak health in men, but also women, of course. But you can see a strong, clear difference in men and how we're developing nowadays and how cooked we're actually getting from our unhealthy modern lifestyle. In the 90s, we had wider bone structure, more muscle mass, and had a stronger presence overall. And as I said, it's not aesthetic differences, they're biological signals of a healthier hormonal environment. So, let's look more on testosterone. Multiple large studies indicate that average testosterone levels in men have been declining over recent decades. In one comprehensive analysis of hundreds of studies, involving over 1 million men, researchers found a consistent linear decline in serum testosterone levels over time, suggesting that the environment itself is influencing hormone production across generation. And this is why I speak about our environment, because it's actually interfering with our hormone production, and it's just declining, unfortunately. Then I want to speak about fertility, male fertility, and people or men experiencing infertility. Another factor that's increasingly showing up in science, and that may help explain why male fertility is declining, is microplastics. These tiny plastic particles are now found throughout the environment and in the human body. Research shows that they interfere with men's and women's reproductive health, making us more infertile. This meta-analysis included semen data from many studies spanning 1973 to 2018, and found that average sperm concentration declined by about 50 to 60% among men from different regions of the world over that period, which is completely crazy. And yeah, it's like it's if we're going in this path, if we're going down this route in a few decades, we're not gonna be able to actually reproduce. Like, this is the world declining and ending, unfortunately, but people don't see this. It's like I don't get it. We're so brainwashed to just ignoring all this. Like, soon we're not able to actually reproduce. More and more people, less and less people are getting kids. Or how do you say, more and more people are not getting kids. Whatever. We're not getting kids anymore. And it's completely crazy. And I know people IRL as well. I've been in multiple scenarios where, or I've been, yeah, in social scenarios where I've been speaking with people that haven't been able to actually reproduce, and they haven't been able to, get a child with their partner, just because either the female is infertile or the male is infertile. And it's a big problem today. But yeah, um, it's crazy. I just wanted to bring that up. So how are we exposed to much microplastics, to that much microplastics that makes us infertile? First of all, it's everywhere. It's even in the air. If you're outside in a big city, it's even in the air. It's the air you're breathing in into your lungs. So it's also in plastic containers and packaging, bottled water, heating when you're heating food in microwave. It's in plastic coated receipts, in plastic foil, synthetic clothing fibers. Yes, even that gym shirt that you're wearing when you're going to the gym. Even that is synthetic. It's plastic. It's everywhere. And these plastics are consumed, and it's put, same thing with the seed oils, deep into our tissues and into our reproductive organs as well, killing off sperm and making us infertile. Testosterone levels are declining, male fertility is declining, sperm counts have dropped by 50% in just a few decades, and these trends are just accelerating. And it's not about to stop if we're not actually changing the direction, if we're not actually doing anything about this. Of course, we won't change our ways until we've been affected ourselves. And what I see today is people get a symptom from living a modern lifestyle with lots of chemicals, with lots of EMF exposure, with lots of blue light, processed foods, blah blah blah. And when they get a problem, they get the symptom, and when they get the symptom, they go to the doctors, to the medical industry to treat the symptom instead of treating the root cause, which was the unhealthy lifestyle. And that's a big problem. Instead of attacking and treating the root cause, people are nowadays treating the symptom. And when you're treating the symptom with chemicals, once again, you're eating chemicals that your body will once again have to detox. So symptom after symptom will occur, and after you've been treating those symptoms with suppressing your symptoms with chemicals and medication, you will just get more and more health issues. You're declining even further when you're doing this. And I want to tell you guys that go back to basics, go back to actually fixing the root cause. The root cause will never be unsolvable. It's always solvable when you go back to nature. So yeah, the solution here is just, when it comes to microplastics, of course, completely cut out what is currently poisoning you. Eat a lot of raw fats. Place yourself in a thriving environment with low stress so that your body can focus on healing and detoxing. And stay consistent, okay? So it's very simple steps here. And I talk about all these different solutions and all these different things that you can do to elevate and fix your health in my other YouTube videos. And yeah, before I end this video, and I want to recap the solutions. So when it comes to EMF and light exposure, be outside as much as possible. Don't be on your phone. Get rid of your phone. And if you are on your phone, be outside with your phone. Second of all, when it comes to nutrition, eat an animal-based raw food diet with a lot of fats that is natural. Get a lot of sunlight, and support your body and cut out all the processed foods, all the chemicals, all the microplastics and seed oils. Just live a simple life. Okay, it's not that hard. Yeah, that's basically the end of the video. But before I end this, I want to speak about where we're currently heading. And yeah, to close this out, it's important to understand what direction we're currently heading in and where we're going to end if nothing actually changes here. And this has nothing to do with genetics, guys. It has everything to do with what we're exposed to, what environment we're placing ourselves in. Nothing is aligning with nature anymore. Nothing is aligning with our biology. We're completely going against ourselves. You know, working a office job, inside with blue light, eating processed foods, sitting up late with our phones, with blasting ourselves with blue light that is damaging our mitochondria and our overall health. We're balding today, low testosterone, infertility. But that is exactly why I do what I do. My purpose in life and what I personally believe is to help people to stop this pattern of declining health and guide people towards a brighter future, towards the light. One future that is built on resilience and alignment with our nature. A future where men and women are hormonally healthy, fertile, energized, and capable of living deeply fulfilling lives. You know, that's my purpose. That is something that I follow myself, a lifestyle, and a core that I have that I follow myself, but also something that I truly strive to do in life is to help other people, to influence other people, and I want the mass to change direction instead of going down and declining and living this modern stressful life where we're just like consuming a bunch of bullshit and we're living without an intention. I want us to move upwards, to live according to life. We truly have one life and we should be living aligned with nature and our biology so we can function and we can be happy. And when our health is, you know, good, we have a good health and we have good health indicators, we feel great, we're energized, we have good hormones and stuff like that, then we can start to build on top of that. We can start to build our business, we can find our purpose, we can build on top of our health, because our health is basically our foundation. You cannot build your house on sand, because if you're trying to build your house and your future and you're trying to find your purpose and get a lot of money on sand, that house will fall apart. When the wind comes, that house will fall apart Meanwhile, if you build your house on concrete, on stone, where your foundation is solid, the house will be built and the foundation will always be there. So that's why I do what I do, and I help people through social media, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm now working on my Back to Basics school community as well. That will be launching in the next upcoming weeks, if not, yeah, months maybe. But if you're watching this, it might already be up, depending on when you're watching this. So go check out my socials, go check out my other YouTube videos and the link in the description in my YouTube. See if the school is there. If not, I'm working on it. And yeah, this is truly my purpose in life. I find it really fulfilling to help people heal through going back to basics. I work with people one-on-one, creating personalized strategies as well to help people reverse their modern health damage and rebuild their biology from the ground up. So yeah, second of all, I do offer coaching program as well where I work with my clients one-on-one, very personalized. But that is it. My philosophy is going back to basics, going back to nature, living a healthy, vital life where we can enjoy our life that we have here on Earth, and we won't actually enjoy our life here on Earth if our foundation is unhealthy and toxic. So that's it for this YouTube video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys also got some value out of this. If you guys want to join this movement of healthy individuals and you guys want to follow my purpose and you guys like my path and my vision, then join my school community. If it's up now, look in the description of my YouTube channel or in my Instagram, which is Philip Hagblom. If it's not up, be patient, but I do offer one-on-one coaching as well. So reach out to me on Instagram, DM me live, and I will reach out to you as well and see what you have to say. So yeah, that's it, guys. Peace out.